It's a beautiful day to you, our lovely and smart real estate investors, both at home and also in diaspora. I hope you all are doing well today. I'm super delighted to welcome you to another exciting and, of course, insightful episode of Property Matters here on YouTube. I know this background looks strange. Of course, this is going to be our new studio where we'll be shooting Property Matters henceforth. In case you're coming across or you're seeing a video like this for the first time, my name is Adijari and I'm your host here on Property Matters. Property Matter is a real estate YouTube talk show where we come, to address and of course discuss important issues that concerns any form or any aspect of real estate investment here in the beautiful city of Lagos, Nigeria. In case you like what we're doing and you want us to keep giving you updated and of course undiluted information that is, concerning any form of real estate investment here in the beautiful city of Lagos, Nigeria, do well to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I drop insightful and, of course, educative videos like this, a very important personality like you will be the first person to see it. Like I said, Property Matter is a real estate YouTube talk show where we discuss topical and, of course, crucial real estate matters. So once again, a lot of people have been seeing our videos continuously and they are yet to subscribe. Please, and please subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so that YouTube, can recommend these videos to other, enthusiastic real estate investors like you. So I'll be back immediately after this short commercial. Don't go nowhere. If any good rental income is your sole aim of exploring and investing in the Lagos State rental market, then you know that location is of what topmost priority. Yaba is a lively location and it is the home to the biggest tech hubs in Lagos, Nigeria. These tech hubs have birthed new companies that are giving employment and investment opportunities to young and aspiring Nigerians. And this is why 60% of our tech guys are residing in Yaba. Have you also wondered why Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook visited Yaba when he was in Nigeria? Let me also remind you that Yaba is also home to 9 tertiary institutions. University of Lagos is in Yaba. Yaba Tech, of course, is in Yaba. And of course, the popular Federal College of Education, FCE Akoka, is in Yaba. It is only in Yaba that people will rent your apartment when it is at the foundation stage. The rental income is so profitable to the point that you can earn as high as 70,000 naira per day on short let, 2.5 million naira per year for two-bedroom apartments. When you do this math, you will understand that no locations can give you this guaranteed rental income as the popular Yaba. Let me also remind you that the Lagos State in government also have the intention of establishing or making Lagos Yaba the biggest tech hub in Africa. Dear real estate investor, if you are looking forward to explore and get the best, your investment, more importantly, if it is rentals, should be strategically located in Yaba. Yaba is 10 minutes away from Ikoyi. It is 15 minutes away from VI and Lekki Phase 1. And in case you're wondering why people are investing basically in Yaba, it's because of the fact that Yaba is a home to the best real estate investment opportunities. More importantly, if you are in the diaspora. So it is possible for you to be in the diaspora and earn good rental income on your property. If you want to know how you want to explore this, give me a call and I'll put you through. Have a nice day. All right, you're welcome back. I'm super delighted because you people have stayed tuned. My very first appreciation goes to all my beautiful and smart real estate investors. More importantly, those who have assisted in getting real estate investment in different aspects of Lagos, Nigeria. I want to say a very big thank you to you. There won't be us here at King's Cross Property without your patronage and without your continuous referral. Thank you very much. For those who may be seeing this video for the first time, this is Property Matters. This is where we discuss everything real estate. More importantly, important issues that concerns real estate activities here in the beautiful city of Lagos, Nigeria. So do well to subscribe, and of course, we also help smart and intelligent real estate investors acquire safe and of course genuine real estate across different parts of Lagos. Whether you're looking at investing in the mainland, the Open State part of Lagos, or you're looking at the island, whether it is cashback, real estate cashback, whether it is land banking, whether it is housing and important form of real estate you might be considering. Of course, we are the best, and we can help you get that dream property. So we will also patronize us, and I can assure you, you certainly not regret it. So today I'm going to be talking about the recent demolition of the properties at Ikota, Lekki, Lagos, and I know, of course, most of my investors, most of my followers, most of my subscribers know very well that I'm going to, uh, lend my voice to this catastrophic and devastating experience. More importantly, those who have ignorantly invested in this region. But before I go further, our heart goes to every real estate investor who must have lost multiple or single properties within this period of property demolition. It's quite unfortunate, but our sincere heart goes to you people, and we pray that God will give you people, the gratitude or the heart, to bear this loss, and of course, give you the energy to move, further to the next chapter of your life. So, Joe, let's talk about the Ikota housing demolition. So, I'm not going to come here to say what most people have said, what my colleagues have said. And I'm not here also to debunk their views, their opinions. Neither am I going to say some of the information that have been shared. I'm not accurate. No, I'm not here to say that. And the reason why I deliberately, paused before lending my own opinion and my voice to this recent demolition was due to the fact that I wanted my, my other colleagues, my esteemed colleagues in this industry, of course, to do justice to the demolition, which obviously is a sad event, and we pray we don't, experience that. So you know very well that one of the reasons why this demolition took place, basically, they were reasons given by the Lagos State Commissioner of of Environment, and this man said most of those houses were obstructing the drainages. They did not, observe the necessary setbacks, and these properties will be constituting environmental hazard. And of course, when we have projects like that in wrong locations, that obviously will make that water will not be able to flow to where it should be, and this obviously will contribute to immense flooding. And of course, these were some of the reasons why those properties were demolished. And also, I also want to let real estate investors to know very well that adequate notice were given to the residents of the Ikota that is presently, experiencing these unfortunate circumstances, the demolition that is currently ongoing. And it's quite unfortunate. And like I said, I wanted my other colleagues in the industry to lend their voices so that I can also learn from them. And of course, share some important things that needs to be shared. Now, I'll be going into some fundamental questions. And in today's episode, I'll be highlighting some things that real estate investors need to understand. Now, they've given reasons why this demolition exercise took place. But there are three fundamental questions that have not been, responded to. And I was in a conversation with also an esteemed real estate investor in diaspora, and this man asked this question. And these are some of the questions that I'll be throwing with in as we continue in this conversation. The very first question was that, was government not aware that these guys were laying foundations and they were building? Basically, when you are encroaching on government land, there might have been some notice, and of course, nobody can tell me that those people at the Ministry of Lands allows are not aware that people are erecting. So the question is, why did they have to wait this long for people to spend millions of naira? Okay, and then after spending millions of naira, they had to, of course, embark on these, exercise that made people lose, a whole lot of money in real estate. Now, the second question basically was that, when before this building took place, these residents, did they not seek the necessary building approval? Were approval not given to several of the structures that were demolished? Okay, so we're proven of are the government coming to tell us that nobody in the Ministry of Land granted approval for this building? Of course, I know most of some of these real estate developers don't have approval, but I know within that Ikota axis, some of them have approval. So the question is, who were the authorized, government officials that granted approval, knowing fully well that these people wanted to build very close to the canal? Now, let me quickly say this. I'm not saying this to justify um, people building very close to where they ought not to, but I want real estate investors to know that there are regulatory bodies that are constantly on the check. That, of course, these guys are always ensuring that when people are building, okay, they ensure that people build in conformity to the laid down government plan that is situated for that environment. Where was where are the large scale government officials? Where were the town planning people? We have over 200 houses there. So the question now is, why did government wait for these guys to erect their buildings before telling them that they didn't observe the necessary setbacks and the likes? That's no question number two. Now, the third question is that, when we were doing an investigation, we found out that some of these houses have what we call a governor's consent as title. And the question is, you all know that these projects were sitting very close, to the canal. Excuse me. We all know that these guys built in places that they ought not to. Now, the next question is, who were those government officials that gave governor's consent title documents to this project? Who were those who authorized government, governor's consent title? Because after we checked, we found out that some piece of properties were having title documents. So, and there's no way you will seek, for of approval if you don't have a title on the property. So the question is, who were those government officials that gave a governor's consent title? And this is where I'm going to base, okay, the discussion of today, because I want you real estate investors to understand some certain things that must be done. Now, everybody's talking about the Ikota building demolition. Let me also, inform our dear real estate investors that there is also another demolition process. Although this demolition process is kind of gradual compared to what happened at Ikota. And of course, some of the government officials we spoke with told us that they needed, to respond to that Ikota demolition because it was constituting environmental hazard, and they've been repeated, complaints and of course reports on flooding. So they needed to, take care of that demolition so that they can speed up the development in that access. Dear real estate investor, if you have a property at Orchid aspect of Lekki, Lagos, where we have this after the second toll gate, there's also another demolition going on in that axis. Buildings have been marked for demolition. Event centers have been marked for demolition. Hotels have been marked for demolition. Schools have been marked for demolition. And that will bring me back to the question I asked. And that question is, don't was there no government regulatory body that could put these people in check before they start spending lots of money. I know a whole lot of people are always quick. Excuse me. A lot of people are always quick to say these guys did not do what they needed to do. There was no this. But the question is it the fault of the investor or the fault of some government officials? There have been instances whereby some government officials have been to places where buildings were not supposed, to be erected. Then after one or two things, you find out that they've suddenly got quiet on that project and nothing is being done. So now the question is, who should share the blame? If you are in that orchid aspect right now, what you are seeing at Ikota is child's play compared to the massive demolitions that will come in at that orchid axis of Lekki. Now, to my dear real estate investors, should the news, okay, of demolitions in Lagos State create concerns? Yes, it should. Should it, okay, stop you people from invest in properties? No, it shouldn't. Now, how can I put the necessary parameters? How can I be so sure that the next property will not fall into places where government projects will be coming in? And that is obviously what I'm going to base today's topic. And I'll be explaining some important things that you need to understand, and also to expose, some of the manipulative tendencies that is being used, okay, to erect this building and sell to real estate investors. So as a real estate investor, you should be concerned, okay, because they've been repeated, circumstances, repeated issues of demolitions. And this started early this year, and of course, we've seen it happen in different aspects. Now, what must you now do to ensure that you don't fall into this? Now, when you look at this, I've said it several times, and I'm going to say it again. The Lagos State real estate industry is not regulated. The only thing you see is government response as at when it is due, and we cannot say that this is the specified time frame that the Lagos State government will respond to places where illegal structures are being erected. So there are no regulations. Ordinarily, the way this thing has been structured basically is that government officials, the town planning, the lab scouting are supposed to be on the lookout in places where buildings are being done, and these guys have not sorted the necessary approval. They've not done what they're supposed to do before they're erecting it. Now, what exactly is the problem, and what should real estate investors should look at? The very first thing you should understand is that most of the development, more importantly, the luxury aspect, is that a whole lot of these developers just want to build, sell, and move to the next project. Most of these guys want to build, sell, and move to the next project. And in the process of trying to build, most of them bypass some important regulatory laws that will ensure that all these demolitions doesn't happen. Now, on the second aspect, basically, is that when you check, okay, some of these structures, some of these buildings, you find out that they have governor's consent title. And now the question is, how come we're having governor's consent on some properties and they're still being demolished? Now, what is the question is that now the question is, does governor consent title, does it not hold waters as a land title? I thought they told us that if a land has a governor's consent, I can build and government will not disturb me. But what is happening in Orchid right now is that some of those properties that have been marked for demolition have titles. And why are they being marked for demolition? Now, the very first thing you must do as a real estate investor, if you want to invest in properties, more importantly, if you're investing with the aim to build, or you want to buy an existing um, properties or or luxuries that has been constructed. Now, the very first thing you want to do as a real estate investor is that when we are doing what we call property search, there are some bodies we look out for. Now, if you want to search a property, there are two offices in the Lagos State Land Review. We have the Lagos State Ministry of Lands, and we have the Surveyor General's Office. Now, there have been instances whereby some of the search reports most times have to be verified at the Surveyor General office, despite the fact that you have checked at the Ministry of Lands. Now, the question is basically what you do at when you go to the Ministry of Land is that number one, you want to confirm the title document if the document that is on the property, okay, is valid rather. I said valid. Excuse me. So you want to check, okay, if the title the property has is what is confirmed. Then you also want to check, okay, if there if the owner of that property have used that property as a collateral. There are some people who use their property as collateral to obtain loans from banks and other commercial, industry. So people use their property as loan. Then you also want to check, okay, if there are no litigations, on the property. Now, what most people do is that people only go to the Ministry of Lands to check. They don't go to the Surveyor General. Now, when you now go to the Surveyor General office, it is at that place that they give you what we call the location analysis. So the Surveyor General office will tell you if there's a project coming there, if there are things that you need to look out for, if there are things that the kind of structures and the kind of setback. Now, when you are doing a building in Lagos, there are some required parameters that must be adequately adhered to in order to avoid. So, in case of celebrating the news of these demolitions, we should start going further to look at what could be the reasons why we're having incessant, demolitions. It's not becoming a norm. It's not becoming something, and real estate investors are worried. So these are the fundamental questions. So when you go to the Surveyor General office, that's where they show you the master plan, where a drainage will be situated will be revealed to you on the master plan. The kind of setback that must be observed will be revealed in that master plan. The kind of building that must be done will be revealed in the master plan. Where we have internal roads, or if they are going to have future projects, they are mostly revealed in the master plan. So when you check at the Ministry of Land to check the title documentation, to check if it is valid, to check if the property has not been used as collateral as loans, to also check, okay, if there are no litigations on that property, then you also want to check, okay, if those property does not fail, because there have been instances whereby land will have titles and there might be a project, and in most cases, governments are forced, to compensate in when they give you titles. But the question is, should they even give titles in a place when they know that projects like bridges, canals, drainages, and the likes are coming? Should they give title? But that's a question that I cannot obviously answer. But I must, call your intention of a real estate investor for them to understand that we won't check twice. Now, these are some of the pain we take off you. There was a scenario of a woman that wanted to. I think I've shared this scenario before. That wanted to buy a property at Thomas Estate in Lekki as at that time. And and this agent I wanted to sell was trying to hurry that woman. Madam, pay. A person won't buy her. These are some of those things we do. Now, in most cases, some investors are not always patient for us to complete the process of verification before they pay for the properties. And that's why some people will account their losses in the Ikota building project. Because you see, excuse me, it is so bad to the point that you will go on government land, you will do foundation, you will erect your building. No government official will say, don't build, stop building. Do you understand? And when they come for demolition, we start shouting, government, government, government. But it is very important that real estate investors should put those things. See, these are some of the things you take off your neck. It's very stressful, but we do it to ensure that you don't lose a dime to any form of real estate investor. So this particular woman, the agent started calling her, Madam, pay, Madam, pay, Madam, pay. And it took us 2 days, okay, to do the verification. At the end of our verification, we found out that there's a canal that is 2 plots away from the land. We had to call the woman's attention to it. Then we also found out that the title documents in which governor's consent was being processed was not in the title of was not, the root title had some manipulations. So there have been instances whereby when you want to buy a property, two surveys are being presented. The one you will pick on the site will not tally to the one the real estate developer has given unto you. So in most cases, you want to go back to the Ministry of Lands, you want to go back to Survey General Office to confirm what could be the reason why we're having different coordinate numbers on each surveys. There have been instances where they will tell you a property has a governor's consent. After doing an internal search to verify some of these things, you find out that such title does not exist. I've said it before. I've seen instances where people manipulate titles. So when we're done with the search, the woman could not, we advised her that these are some of our discoveries, these are some of our discoveries, and the woman did not buy the property. Do you know that that same property recently now has been marked for demolition? In fact, what we even found out basically is that that property is part of such some properties in Thomas Estate that will go down as a result of what the fourth mainland bridge that is coming. There've been instances whereby there've been changes in the Lagos State master plan. And these changes come because of projects. There are some projects that have been marked for completion that should start early. And there have been instances whereby government introduce, they do a lot of one or two changes, to this master plan. So if, in some places where that have been free could have issues. So that is why we are constantly checking. Now, because of the fact that some real estate investors are not always patient for people to complete their verification, that's why most of them are buying things that they ought to have avoided. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing in my next video, I'm going to be talking about some of the requirements that a developer is supposed to present to avoid um, property being demolished. I've talked about the first aspect I've talked about today is the process of verification. So you verify at Ministry of Lands to confirm the title, to confirm if there are litigations, to confirm if there are not loans. Then you now go to Surveyor General Office to confirm, okay, if there are no projects. That's the first thing. There are still other steps that you have to take in order to ensure that you don't fall victim in any form of verification, in any form of demolition that will be happening in the future. As I'm talking to you right now, there is demolition going on in Ibeju Lekki, Lagos. How come no one is talking about this? Why is it that it's just that Ikota? And there might be several demolitions to come. So we're talking about this. So in our next video, I'm going to be explaining some of the things you need to do as a real estate investor in order to ensure that you invest rightly. So this is what I'm going to talk to this episode. There's a good talk today's curtain on property matters. Do well to subscribe to this channel, and please, my next video after this one is very important. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, advise your friends and family to do so. See you in my next video. God bless you.